Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to do a very non-technical presentation, mostly like do-it-yourself tutorial on how to build your own documentation. If you always wanted to do that, then that's good. And okay, so this what you can see on the screen here is odoc's documentation built using odoc. And so what you can create can look like that. So let me start. I will start with a review, like before actually building our own documentation. We are going to look at other people's documentation. Yeah, so let's look at the first one, which is path, the path package. And when I go to the documentation, which is this page on ocaml.org, I can see this. So yeah, it is clear what it's doing. I can go to some modules, and I have this. So now you know what this library is doing. I can go to the next one. No. So in my opinion, maybe with this you can have a lot of information about the values, but it is still a bit confusing to open a documentation for a package you want to use and to see this, even though using OCaml type you can express a lot of things, so you can guess what things are doing. In my opinion, I feel a bit lost when looking at this. So that's why, as usual, when we do review, we will give stars to the project, and I'm going to publicly give a very low star to an OCaml library. I hope I will survive. And I will also write very quickly, because I'm a fast typer with one hand, that I want a refund. So I say that this documentation, you cannot really see it, but it has no landing page. So when I arrive and I see the name path, I'm interested, I click on it, and I don't see what this library is doing. And also, it has no documentation like inside the module on what things are doing. Before going further, and I'm going to say that if I click on something else, it can also have lots of documentation. So maybe it was just me who was too lazy to just go little bit, invest a little bit of time to the package, and also it has a very nice README. So I am the culprit of not like showing you a library and only the parts that are bad. But still, when you arrive to the landing page, you want to directly see what the library is about. So let's see our second example, which is patience diff. So this library still has like when you enter the library, you might guess what it is about due to the name, but still it is not very easy if you don't know what patience diff, for instance. It is a diff algorithm. You don't know what patience is referring to. And if we click in here, we can see some documentation, but not all. So for instance, patience, you still don't know what is patience. And if you click on it, you have some explanation. So in my opinion, it could be simpler. So I had already 2 or 3 clicks, and I still don't know how to make a diff between 2 things. And maybe I can go to string and then try to find something somewhere where which looks like doing diff. It is not very, even though there is documentation, you lack a landing page basically, and for very quick information that you want when you are assessing different libraries. So I will also, I will give first 3 stars. What do you think? To this library, just because it has some comments, and I will say that it has no landing page or examples. And now, last example is brr, which when you enter, you see this. So you see that it's a toolkit for programming browser, blah, blah, blah. And you see what it provides directly in the first, really first lines. So a section of browser API, OCaml console. So I can click on select, even though things are very straightforward from their type. there is always some explanation, so like English explanation, which might not be needed for the very experienced OCaml developer, but every people start somewhere, and when you are not very, very familiar with the type, it's nice to have a better experience by having English somewhere. And also it has some nice things which are page. So for instance, I don't know, FFI manual is a quite long page which explains a lot of things related to the library, and which has links to the API. So that's one of the strengths of odoc. You can quickly do links to the API. And easy. Okay, so I guess I'm going to give 5 stars and write a nice review. And voila. Okay. So now that we know like what our goal is to have a 5-star documentation, we will see what we need. So we don't need any tools apart from a computer. I hope you have one if you want to try that. And then we need some tools in the computer. So I wrote, in this tutorial at least, we will use dune to, no, I will start again. So in this tutorial we are using odoc to generate the documentation. Odoc is the most used documentation generator. It takes the API, it takes files produced by the OCaml compiler, so one at a time, and then builds a complex documentation with many files. And it has to be driven because you have to give the right option, a search path and all that, just like for a compiler. And in this tutorial, we are going to use Dune to do that. So step one is open your project. So I'm going to do that in front of you. So this is an undocumented project. No. Sorry, I'm missing. Okay, so I'm going to go somewhere to clone it, and I'm going to clone it. I'm going to go somewhere else. And clone it. Okay, and I'm going to show you, yes, I wanted to go somewhere different. Okay, so I can do it again, and now I will go show you what this project looks like. So it is a Dune project, so it has a Dune project file and just a single lib directory with a Dune file, which has just defining a library. So it's a very, very simple project, and some MLI. And this MLI is just a basic MLI with nothing. Just pay attention that we have an include module type of FUN here. And we want to build the documentation for this project. And what, yes, I need to, so yeah, I showed you the project. And now step 2, build your documentation. So I'm going to do the one command that you need to build your documentation, which is this, and it's already finished. So building your own documentation, getting a 1-star documentation is very easy. Just if you use Dune, you only have one command to, no, what, I wanted to copy this. And let's have a look at the result. Okay, so this page was auto-generated because we don't have an index page, and same for this. So now we see the API that we had before, but we have one module per page. This will be always the case in odoc. And we also go to SuperFun, where we had the include module type of. So if we don't compute ourselves the module type, we don't know exactly what are the values available in the module. But here, odoc do the compilation, do the computation to know exactly what is available in this SuperFun module. So that's already an improvement. We have a nice website which shows you your API computed completely. So we have 1 star for free. Now let's do 3 stars. So for this, we need to add documentation to signature items. There is an example here. So it is just some, maybe I need to make it bigger. This is just strings that can be attached to something when they are close to it, or standalone when they are detached. And that have some specific syntax that I will speak about. So let's do a git checkout to a branch where I already have added the things so that I can give you the example. And dune build add doc again. Let's go first to see in the code what we have. We have exactly the same things as what I showed you. That is comments that have double stars. If I only have 1 star, it is not a documentation comment. So you need 2 stars. It is handled very differently, and then it becomes a documentation comment, and the highlighting shows it. Here we have some syntax. We have things that are attached to modules, strings that are attached to types, and to values. Okay. And we have strings that are attached to nothing, and that may, for instance, contain example. If I want to have a look to, if I now reload the page, we have all the strings appearing, and that's also like in the module it appears, and in the page that announces the module it also appears. So yeah, you just have to know the syntax, and so the syntax is not known syntax. It is odoc's own syntax, which I think is historical. It is in fact not very hard to learn. There is a quick cheat here that we can have a look at. So some part of it are same as other light syntax such as Markdown. So for paragraph, you just skip line. For list, you can just do what you think looks good. So this is the common part, and the known part, like the easy. The more less known part is for using this syntax with a curly brace and a word that explain what is inside. So here it is the title level, and then some content, and then some closing brace, curly brace. And so you have that for title with the title number, title level. You have that for B for bold text, I for italic, E for emphasized, and everything is like that. This symbol is for links, and you can use this syntax where you start with 2 opening things, give the link target, and then give the link content. So this is another thing. But very importantly, because this is one of odoc strengths, you can do references, and that is with the bang character. And then you just write a qualified reference, and you can enjoy just being able to click on it and go to the thing you wanted to reference. So quite easy to learn. And you can also just, when you want to do a list or a code block, you go to the cheat sheet, have a look at how it works, and do it. And if you have more involved questions, there is a tutorial, a reference manual. So in the end, we can do already 3 stars just by writing documentation with a syntax to learn. But we want 5 stars. So I'm going to show you how you can add an index, so landing page and standalone pages. I'm going to check out the Wiz manual. and see what has changed. Yes, I don't know. So I added in the last commit simply 3 files, doc dune, doc index, and doc tutorial. So doc is a new folder. And doc dune is simply this file. It says that this folder is for documentation, so quite easy. And then index.mld will be the landing page, and it is a file with the same syntax as the docstring, so no new syntax to learn this time. And another file, tutorial.mld, which also contains some text with the same syntax. So no new syntax to learn, just a new folder with a dune file with documentation in it. And let's have a look at how it looks now. So I go back to this one, and I go to the landing page. And now on the landing page, we have the landing page that we have written ourselves. We use the reference, and we can go to the tutorial, and we can do references to examples on another page, and all that. So quite easy to add a standalone page, and then you have a 5-star documentation. So I encourage you to do so. Maybe Paf could just copy his index page. And it will have a 5-star. Okay, next is profit, of course. So now that you have built your documentation for yourself, how can other people access it? So whenever you publish your package on OCaml, the documentation will be available by several ways. On ocaml.org, it is automatically built and deployed. And using Oding, you can browse your local documentation by just doing odig doc and the name of the package. So in the end, just a simple 5-step where most steps are just running a single command, except part 3 where it's actually written the documentation. But, very easy things, and you can have documentation for your newcomers that will be nice. Okay, just a small teaser. So all what you saw was the output of odoc 2, which was at the beginning mostly focused on writing API docs, and it has support for pages, but there were a few things missing. And odoc 3.0 is coming sometime soon. And it will have a lot of things, so support for search, even, so odoc 2 already has it, but let's say better support for search using social odoc, so with a type-directed search. You will be able to see the source code rendered. You will be able to include files such as images or other medias. Have documentation that have subparts, so you have just like in Sphinx, you can have lots of pages that are hierarchically organized. A global sidebar to access all of that. Cross-package references to be able to reference something in another package, even if you do not depend on this package, but maybe this package depends on you. And more efficient incremental compilation. I don't know if I have somewhere the... yes, maybe this one. So this is an example. It is smaller than like the... Yeah, so you can see that there is a global table of content on the left. There is this where you can write, for instance, deriving.t. You can find the type which deriving.t, but you can also say, I want something which creates something of type deriving.t. So you have lots of way to navigate the... And then go to the source maybe to see how it was implemented. For your attention.